Hi everyone, welcome back to the next video into the Chroma database series where we are trying to understand the vector database Chroma into a step-by-step manner. In today's video, we are going to understand what exactly is semantic search, and the overall objective would be to understand that how AI retrieves the result based on the meaning using embeddings. Okay. So in case if you are directly jumping to this video into the previous videos, we have already covered how you can install Chroma, create a collection. We have seen why exactly persistent client is important. We have seen how you can reuse a collection, create, update, retrieve, delete, all of that is covered. We have also seen the metadata, and into the recent video we have also covered how do you do embedding, and that was more kind towards the practical side of it. Okay. So in case you are not familiar of any of these, please find the playlist link in the description for your reference. Okay. Let's see what is the objective for today's video. Today we are going to learn something. What exactly is semantic search? How does Chroma actually use semantic search, and in turn it also uses something which is called embeddings. Whenever we are working with LLM and vector databases, there are two things which pops up. One is the keyword and the other one is the semantic search. We are going to understand that what exactly is the difference, and then how the similarity scores is able to identify which documents are closer. And similar like all the other videos, this video will also be a hands-on thing where I would be actually doing it and you would be able to understand. I would highly recommend you guys to please open your VS Code, practice along with me, so at the end we both have the same set of use cases and we have the same set of understanding. And lastly, in case you are coming to the channel for the first time, please do subscribe to the channel to get the next videos into the same playlist. Having said that, let's get started. Okay, so first thing first, what exactly is this semantic search? You might be hearing this term for the first time, and today I am also going to discuss about something which is called the keyword search, right? So on the screen you see there are two examples. One is the keyword search and the other is the semantic search. Keyword search is like finding the exact text match 1 to 1. For example, if I just say tell me the vehicles where the fuel is equal to petrol, so it is exactly going to search for the word fuel, F-U-E-R, because that is the keyword. However, if we talk about the semantic search, it is able to find the related meaning. Now, instead of saying that tell me which all vehicle has the petrol fuel, F-U-E-L, I can also say that tell me which all vehicles run on petrol, or tell me which all vehicles which need petrol. Right. So basically I am not mentioning that I want FUEL fuel, I am referring by a meaning. So whenever I am writing a query and that query has a hidden meaning and I want the LLM to search with the meaning and not directly by a keyword, then we use something which is called semantic search. And when we exactly know what do we want to search, then we use something which is called a keyword search. Right. So for example, if I have a database and into the database I know that my employee number is EMPNO. So instead of writing, when I exactly know what I want, I can simply write the query that give me the data where EMPNO is equal to 123. When I am very much sure that this is the keyword I want, I use something which is called keyword search because it is easy, but it has some drawbacks because if the keyword change, it does not work. However, if I have to do something with the meaning, then I would go with something which is called the semantic search, right? So these are the two things which you would often heard that I am using keyword search, I am using semantic search. It's very simple. Keyword is one-to-one matching, whereas whenever I talk about semantic, it simply means that I am trying to search using the meaning and not the exact keywords. That's the difference. Okay, let's move forward. The next one is how does Chroma uses the embedding. Now, into the previous lessons, we have already seen that every time whenever I add a document, Chroma creates an embedding, which is the set of numbers which we have already seen. Now, when I run a query, right, tell me all the vehicles that runs on petrol, tell me the vehicle that has fuel is equal to diesel, Chroma convert my query also to something which is called embedding vectors. So when I added the data, every data was converted to the numbers, that's where vector, and when I am asking a query, that query is also converted to something which is called the embedding vectors. Then all Chroma has to do is compare your vector query with all the stored embeddings. Once that is done, then you would have the smallest distance, that the closest vector, and that's how you get the similar meanings, right? So till this point we have understood that whenever I am adding data or the documents to the Chroma database, we were getting embeddings. I changed the data, the embeddings got changed. Remember from the last lesson? Now what we are saying is, when I ask a query, the query is also converted to something which is called embeddings, and then Chroma performs a comparison. The answer of the comparison is the smallest distance, or in other words the closest vectors, and that gives me the data. Now if you see this one, bus carry passengers, car runs on petrol, bicycle runs without fuel. So these are the sample embeddings, the top 3 which the Chroma has given me. However, when I ask a query saying that vehicle that does not need fuel, I am doing something which is called semantic search. Does not need fuel, right? So does not is without, so that's the similar meaning. Now if you see here, these two are almost closer, 0.1 to 0.14. However, if you see here, this is 88, 89, 21 and 29, right? So these are only the first 3 values. And why it is giving, when I run this query, why I will get this answer? Because the question also is converted to vector. The document itself is converted to vector, and all you have to do is just get the closest distance, and that way Chroma uses the embeddings, right? I hope if you are following along this playlist, you are now able to relate to that, how the things are working, right? If that is the case, let me know in the comments. Okay, now that we have understood how exactly this thing works, let's try to deep down into the semantic search, write some programs, try to understand, and then let's see where we go. Okay, so now I am switching back to my VS Code, and let's try to do something with semantic search. Okay, so I'm back to my VS Code. This is the same solution we have been working on, and now all we have to do is, I'll just go here and inside the VNB folder, I will create a new file. Let's call this something like semantic search. We want to set it up, so setup.py. Okay, so semantic search setup.py, and this is the file which we are going to do some of the magic with the semantic search. Okay, now I'm going to write some of the code, and I believe you guys now are able to understand what I'm doing, right? So first thing first, I am importing something which is called ChromaDB, right? And yeah, you have to do that, right? And we have been doing this for a while, that first of all we need to connect to the client, and I am using something which is called persistent client, because I want to use my data even if I close this one, right? Now next thing what I am going to do is, I am going to create a new collection. The name of the collection is vehicle_semantic, because today we are learning the semantic search. So this is the same method, get or the create collection, right? And then I hope you guys are able to follow along. We are just saying that collection.add, where we are just adding the documents, right? And I think I forgot to add this. Yeah, so all of this we have seen into the previous videos, guys, so not spending much time here. Nothing fancy. Imported the DB, connected to the persistent layer, created a collection called vehicle semantic, and added the data. And once that is done, I'll just maybe do a simple print statement saying that the connection is added successfully. Okay, I'll just maybe try to run it. Oops, Python. What is the name of the file? Semantic. Okay, Now this part is nothing fancy, we just added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 records, embedding would be created into the background. Okay. Now when actually we are doing something which is more towards the semantic, right, let me just add maybe a comment and let's try to understand the semantic search in more details, right, that how exactly these things are working. So maybe I'll just copy paste this comment here and maybe we'll just say search semantically. Okay. Okay. Now if you remember, into one of the previous videos we have seen that how do you query the Chroma database. You just have to use something which is called collection. That collection is nothing but what you have added. Then I say query, and then if you see this, I am saying vehicle that doesn't need fuel. Now as we discussed how Chroma does that, all of these would be converted to embeddings. The question you ask would be also converted to embeddings, and then the comparison should happen, and that is what it is called a semantic search, where you are trying to get the data out of this by understanding the meaning, and that meaning understand happen based on the vector embeddings in the previous videos. Okay. Now what I am going to do is I'll just go and maybe print the numbers. Remember, into the previous one we have also seen this, that for whatever data you are getting into the results, just print the document and just print the distance, nothing else. Let's try to save this and I'll just run this. Now it says that sample data was added and these are the semantic search results, where it says bicycle run without the fuel, the distance is 0.68, right. So try to understand this. When we would have added this, this would have been converted to a vector. All of those records were also converted to vectors, and it says that the closest one is without fuel. Car runs on petrol, bus carry this. These are also the results, but they are a little far from what we have got. Now if I am writing an, let's say, an enterprise application, and I know that I am looking only for one results, I can make it to 1, and then if I run this, I'll only get one result, the distance is 0.680. The idea here is, when the question is converted to the vector embedding, it actually compares it to each one of them, and then the nearest one is found here. So till this point we understand that the question is converted to embedding and the documents are also converted to embeddings, and then it is just able to calculate the distance. This is exactly what is called a semantic search, and that uses embedding. However, if I just maybe comment this print, okay, I'll just comment a couple of lines here. Now I can actually write syntax and I can see all the embeddings by just using collection.get, include the ID, documents and the embeddings, right. IDs are by default included, so no need to have IDs, by the way. And then if I just use a printf statement, embedding snapshot, text in data, documents and data embeddings, we can actually get the embeddings. So for all the 5 records I can actually print the embeddings also by just using this simple print statement, and you can see that these are the embeddings for the first 5 values only, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Similar to this, I can also convert the question also to embedding and then try to do a manual comparison, that you can always do. But the thing which I wanted to make you guys understand is that all these embeddings which we have seen in the previous videos get compared to the question, right? And the output which comes is the distance. The more closer the distance, that's how it is able to give you that responses. And why this is coming as 3? Because I have given here 3 results. Now depending on your use cases, you can go deep down into each and every embedding, play around with numbers, use different embeddings models, and then you can find a better semantic results. However, if I am using a keyword based search, it will be just comparing keyword to keyword. Semantic search, convert it to embeddings, question is converted to embedding, and then the comparison happens. Alright, so that is exactly what is the semantic search. I just wanted to explain with a bit more detail. Okay, now if I try to explain it with the help of example, and it's like the same thing, right? So bicycle one run without fuel, it's 0.17, bus carry passengers is 0.54, car runs on petrol is 0.62, right? So which one is the closest? So the lower the distance, the higher the similarity and higher the ranking. That is why semantic search results are sorted by meaning and not by the text position or the keyword frequency. Even if this keyword is like appearing 10 times into the same thing, it won't give you, because the meaning is different. And how the meaning is derived? The meaning is derived from embeddings, and how embeddings are derived we have seen in the previous video, right? So the summary for this complete tutorial is embeddings help us into the semantic search. Semantic search are more powerful than the keyword search. Keyword search is keyword to keyword matching, and semantic search is not keyword to keyword, but it's the meaning. No matter how many times the same word is repeated, you will still work on the distance, and that is calculated using the embeddings. Let's quickly summarize that what we have seen today. We have seen that how Chroma uses embedding into the semantic search. We understood that the meaning are derived based on the distance. You have an option to change the number and get many or less results. Keyword and semantic results are different. Keyword is one-to-one matching, semantic is by meaning. And we have also seen that how embeddings work internally. It is a continuation to the previous videos, right? Okay, so with this, I would like to wrap this video here. Thank you so much for watching. If you find this content insightful, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next one.